Hi guys, I am live with Lame Hillbilly, and he has a really cool project here. But before we get into it, before we get into all the mayhem and the chaos that Lame Hillbilly is gonna foment with his wonderful project here, please like and share this because this is a non-degen play. This is passive income, right? Lame Hillbilly, they can make
It
real
is.
passive income here. So this is completely different from what you guys have seen out there, what you guys have associated with DeFi and everything out there. This is nice passive income that you can earn over time. So make sure you tell all your friends and everyone out there. Share this on your Twitter, like and subscribe. And someone said, when Toyota Camry?
True
Soon,
that.
soon.
Let me start by saying how grateful I am to be friends with Dow King. A lot of people look to get on his space for like AMAs for new projects and stuff. And the relationship that I've built with Dow King, I literally messaged him an hour and a half ago to do an Ask Me Anything for Walrus Anglers Club. And he was like, shit, man, it was his off day and he was supposed to be chilling today. And he just was like, okay, send me a thumbnail and we'll go for it. And I was like, thank you so much. So shout out to Dow King.
Oh man,
He's always a big believer in me, and I can't say that I can't say enough how much I appreciate him.
I appreciate that. There is no off days in DeFi, unfortunately.
There is not.
And we got America Money in the house. He's a big supporter of you, as we know.
So sometimes he is right. It just depends on the day and the drink of choice he has.
He's not drinking right now. It's morning, right? Oh no, it's a little bit. Well, he might be drinking. It's like 12:41. You drinking yet, Brando? I don't know if Brando's drinking yet, but maybe. But let's get to your Anglers Club because this is really cool. So
Yeah.
let me just frame it for everyone out there. You buy an NFT and you earn passive income through the mining process. Is that how it is? Is that what it is?
Correct. So
Okay.
we have these NFTs that were crafted by the Hydro Wells artist. So that is why they look, in my opinion, so good.
You look good.
But we actually, the person that I'm working with, his name is Sean. He lives in New Zealand. He actually did this for 2 years, where he priced out different type of ASIC miners and got them shipped all around the world, shipping and receiving. And so, he gets extremely good pricing on all of these. And he also has the means to get very cheap leases. In fact, the first lease for our first farm, which we could talk about later, is actually 7 minutes from his house. So all maintenance and stuff is being done through him. And these are actually the first farm we are doing is actually going to be mining Kadena. So all of these are proof of work. And Kadena specifically is kind of what we call like the moon basket. It has the most upside potential, especially with Ethereum getting knocked off as proof of work. People think that proof of work may go somewhere, but in fact, it's the most secure way
It is.
for crypto. So I don't think it's going anywhere. Kadena is new. It's at about $1.50 right now, maybe a little bit less. But there's a lot of people that are projecting it to go much higher, of course, in the next bull cycle. So us getting our miners, we're actually getting like 80% off of what miners are during a bull cycle. So buying in now to these kind of projects, especially, these mining NFT projects are very popular, is the best opportunity because we're pricing it at the current, market rate of these ASIC miners. And then later on, of course, the miners are going to go up in a bull cycle along with what we are mining. So the ROI will, of course, ramp up.
Got it. So let me ask you this. I got two questions for you here. Are you associated with Hydra Whales, which is a very successful project in any way besides the art?
No, I talk with Sam a lot. I'm very good friends with him. He's an amazing guy, and they have an amazing project. But he worked with me after LC and stuff. We started talking a lot more. He was like, "Dude, a lot of people are shouting your name out and saying you're very trusted in the space." And I was like, "Well, thank you for that. What do you think about creating some NFTs for me?" And he, of course, was all for it. So they have an amazing artist. They have an amazing team, an amazing outlook. I would like to talk some differences about our mining NFTs, considering like in comparison to some of the other mining teams that are out there, and kind of where I see like our strengths at. Of course, we are much smaller in comparison to, people like Hydro Wells or Kadena hashing or the other NFTs out there that are doing similar things. But the benefit of that, and we'll see it later in this white paper, is that we don't take a huge split. We don't have a large team to pay. We're doing everything very grassroots, and so we're able to offer a much lower price point on our NFTs. So the $100 is actually cheaper than anything that you can buy as far as these type of NFTs. They are extremely cheap. A lot of people said you should probably increase them. Some of these go for $500 to $1,000, but we don't have to. We're getting very good prices. We use hydroelectricity over in New Zealand. And so, we are able to offer, and me, Now King, honestly, to a fault, I give out to the community more than myself always. So I pay myself minimal so that we can have the best returns for you all as a community. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's one of our big strengths that we have going for us, is that the team is very small, and I actually enjoy it that way. I do that with everything because
where can they find the link to this document? Is it going to be in your Discord?
It is. It's actually.
Okay. So go to the description in this. What do you call? In this
video.
Go to the description. There you go, and then click on the Discord, and then where do they go? I believe there's a section.
There is a Walrus Anglers Club section, and under it there's a Walrus Anglers Club announcements, and it's like you can see it right there posted. There's a Walrus Anglers Club white paper.
I want to ask you something about this. So I see there's different tiers, there's different phases. So you want to definitely get into phase 1. It looks like, which is, when does that start?
So that will start tonight. We're uploading the NFTs to an IPFS server, and then of course all of the traits and stuff for each phase. Yeah, and those tiers are very important, because it's almost like every single time that it mints out, you as a early minter, of course, the intrinsic value of your NFT goes up, right? Because if you bought it 100, well, if it goes to phase 2, then it automatically floor prices 125, and then it goes up phase 3. So buying it earlier, of course, is always better. And that's kind of how it works. So it kind of gives a little bit of that FOMO, so people get excited about minting out.
So the first one is going to be $100, and you got 2,500 NFTs. So you're going to raise $250,000 on the first round. And then when you're sold out of those, then you go into second round, second phase 2. Is that kind of how it's going to work?
Exactly.
No timetable. There's no timetable.
There is no timetable. And usually these things they're not like those normal mints where it's like they have to sell out in like 10 seconds. Oftentimes it could take a little bit longer, because we are asking for a big capital raise, because mining equipment is expensive. Upkeep for mining equipment is expensive, right? So it does take some time, but that's okay. We already have secured the lease. Frozen Walrus Treasury already took care of the lease. So we have our first year of our lease on our first farm already. And then we'll start purchasing miners for that lease progressively over the time that we mint.
How long is it going to be before you're actually making income?
So the first 2,500 should secure our first farm, which is 18 KD6 miners. And that means that the NFTs will start earning technically, but there is a 6-month lockup period where we'll compound. And so the cool thing about Kadena is the way that we're explaining it with compounding is that Kadena has a localized DEX built by their team, and you're able to single stake that Kadena. So we are going to take that Kadena and of course single stake it so that we can progressively compound and get a bigger bag of Kadena, and hopefully afford more farms, more miners, whatever it is. And of course we have a community wallet as well that will be investing into DeFi projects, maybe trading bots, whatever there is for extra income for the NFT holders.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm going to give let's say I want to buy 10 of them. It's going to cost me $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, this is not a degen play. This $1,000 is going to be locked up for 6 months unless you decide to sell your NFT. You can go sell your NFT, correct?
Yeah, of course. We'll likely be listed verified on NF Trade as soon as we go live. You won't be able to see your NFT until the phase is over. So there will be a reveal each phase.
Yeah. The phase 1 is over.
Yeah, until phase 1 is over, and then we'll reveal the NFTs. And that'll be each phase. We'll do it like that. Got you.
Now, the big question that I'm a numbers person. You might go to someone else and do a different AMA, and they'll talk to you about the technicals, and they'll care about all that stuff. I don't. So we're just going to talk numbers a little bit more. If I put $100 in this in 6 months, I know you can't really say there's going to be X amount or da 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 da. It's very difficult. Kadena is at $1.50. You said, right?
Hmm. Maybe
Okay.
a little bit less now. I haven't checked it today, but
Okay. Whatever it is. If Kadena goes up in price, that's also a profit for your NFT, right? Your NFT becomes worth
more
more.
profitable.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
And
that's
that's really the
interesting,
main ploy of it, is
right?
that we do assume that Kadena is going to have price appreciation. So in 6 months, hopefully, if we're out of the bear cycle or somewhat into a new, bull trend,
Full trend,
then
right?
then Kadena will come up, and then the return of investment will, of course, happen much faster. So they are, and I like to warn people that this isn't a normal DGen investment. These are longer term plays because the
Longer.
mining can really start compounding on itself. And then after that 6 month lockup period, we'll have something that says this is how much Kadena we've mined. And then every month after that, any NFT holder will be able to vote. Do you want to distribute these funds, or do you want to, compound them to the next month?
When you say compound, let's say this $100 and you're compounding X amount a month. What do you compound? I don't really understand because you're getting the mining fees. So the mining fees are coming in. What do you do with those mining fees? Do you
So let's hypothetically say that we mine 15,000 Kadena a month with all of
right,
our farms live.
right,
If the users suggest that we compound again, we'll take that 15,000 Kadena and single stake it until the next month, and we'll just keep adding to that bag until people decide that they want to distribute those funds. Now,
got
most
you.
people should be smart enough to know that if this is a long-term play and the risk is kind of low at $100, if you keep compounding that Kadena and wait for price appreciation and wait for maybe getting a new farm,
Big.
then of course it'll get much more exponential. And then the intrinsic value of your NFT, if they know that there's 7-8 months of rewards behind it, then your NFT is going to become more valuable, right? Because
Valuable.
people know that there's that much, backing it. And each NFT represents 1/10,000th of the profit, that we get from the mining.
It is does Kadena have a validator nodes?
No, it's all proof
Yeah.
of work.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we mine everything. So there is no validator nodes. We are the people that are securing it.
Okay.
And so if you look at the white paper, there is a little bit of a kind of a breakdown of the current difficulty rate. Which, if you're not familiar with, there's a difficulty rate, which means the algorithm hash rate of how difficult it is to solve these problems that miners do to mine the Kadena. And then we kind of gave a base metric of about $211 after power. Go up a little bit on the. It'll
Where
be
do I
the
go?
one
This one?
mining setup and cost. It'll be the one right above
Oh,
that.
it's this one.
Yep. So right there at the very bottom table, you can see that it's got $211 per day roughly on our first farm. So that's with our first farm through phase one.
$211 per day based on the price of Kadena at $1.58.
Correct. And that is with just one farm, which would be after 2,500 mints. Of course, we're doing 10,000 and we plan on having 3 farms.
So if I do 211 times 365 for an entire year,
Yeah.
I get $77,000, and that's assuming the price of the Kadena is not going up, and that's assuming
That we don't have any other farms.
other farms and you're not compounding or anything, correct? Which you
Correct.
have right here, also $77,000.
Correct.
Basically.
And there's also potential for upgrading our equipment. There is new Kadena miners that are coming out much more efficient, and we're finding good prices on those. And of course, we'll find the most optimal, price point for all of these. So it's kind of cool because, like, if you look at it static, it may look like lower returns, but you're not if you don't account for the compounding, the upgrading of the equipment, and also we're not stuck to Kadena. We'll go where the most profitable place is. So he can price any type of ASIC miners, whether it be Bitcoin, anything, and he knows the places to lease. He has a realtor there in New Zealand that's very, very, good at what he does, and he's done this a couple of times. So we're going to be upgrading these farms with different type of ASIC miners that gives the best hash rate and be compounding along the way.
Yeah, you could be in Bitcoin, you can be in anything. That was one of the questions. They can be in anything. It just depends on where the most money you can make it.
Exactly. And he's monitoring that all the time. He's an extremely intelligent person. I wish I could have brought him on today, but of course he's on a different time zone than us. But we've had some AMAs together, and he's a great guy, and he really wants to do this. This is what he's good at. He loves it. He has a lot of passion for it. So yeah, 211 is a baseline for one farm a day. In fact, if we get 3 farms, 0 compounding, 0 upgrade to equipment, that's about 600 a day or 18,000 a month. Of course, 6 months of that will be compounded from that, and then that doesn't account for any kind of upgrades or anything like that.
So
So
this is really interesting. So I just did a rough math. I get about a 30% return based on the number I see here. Am I in that in the
yeah, you're
line?
actually that's actually pretty accurate with no price appreciation. A lot of people in these mining NFTs are accounting for price appreciation in their ROI. So I see some that were gauging a $4 price point, and that's how they were telling you your ROI. So obviously it's not there. So I like to give base facts. I don't like to do the FOMO thing. I really do like to give it out straight. If there is no price appreciation, this is what you get, but you can obviously input your own numbers. So at $4, it would be, at like a 90% ROI at 365 days.
Interesting. So it looks like with everything, with the compounding and everything you're going to do and management and everything, you could expect on the low end to get a 30% return, on the higher end, maybe 45% return. And are you going to pay the people back in Kadena, or are you going to pay them back in stables? Like, how will you be paying people back?
So I've actually talked to a couple different Kadena hashing people that are running similar projects, and I asked if there was going to be a native bridge for Kadena into AVAX. And they all think that there is going to be. Currently, there is only a native one to Ethereum. But the goal here for me is to make it really simple for a user just to hold the NFT and take the profits from it. So we will bridge it to Ethereum, then AVAX, and give you stables or AVAX or whatever the community wants. But we'll give out the mining rewards via AVAX, but not in Kadena. So you won't have the exposure to Kadena because it gets really complicated, because Kadena doesn't use MetaMask, right? You have to have a whole new non-custodial wallet. And so each time a user sells that NFT, we would have to find a way to collect the Kadena wallet from the new user. And it would become, pretty expansive on how difficult it could be. So we wanted to make it as simple as possible for the user. And that's really how we see it. So I'm pretty confident there will be a Kadena native bridge to AVAX soon. Hopefully we can bring it to Glacier and then have a pool on Glacier,
So so you're going to get paid in Kadena in AVAX, basically.
Yeah, you'll get paid mainly in AVAX or USDC, honestly. The Kadena will get sold, sent over to Ethereum, sent over to AVAX, and then given out to users for each NFT they hold.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, that's an interesting way you're doing it. So basically, if the value of Kadena goes up, you would sell it into USDC and then bridge it over for
Correct.
everybody.
Yep.
What if I wanted the Kadena? What if it's going up and I'm like, I want it. Lame Hillbilly.
Well, the good news is you get exposure to it without having to deal with the price differences of up and down. It's kind of a vote for the entire community to make. Yeah, so I understand if people want exposure to it. I guess you could always bridge it back and buy Kadena.
Okay, that's a good point. So you got a great question here. In a bear market, what happens to your investment strategy if the NFTs don't sell out? Are there any interim milestones you have to start mining?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So it is going to take at least the first 2,500 to get mining going. But once that 2,500 is over, base minimum, at least those 2,500 mints will continue to, procure profits. You will be making off of those 2,500 NFTs. Of course, I will be marketing the entire time and trying to push these to get these sold out. But yes, this bear market does, it does suck for most DeFi investments right now. Everybody's having trouble selling.
This is not DeFi, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's worldwide, of course. But yeah, it is one of those things that we do have to sell out the first 2,500, which I do think with the price point we have, it's not a big ask. And with the amount of experience I've had in DeFi so far, I feel pretty comfortable making sure that we can sell out over time. And yeah, so if we have to pivot and find a new way to make sure that if we only have 1,000 sold out, we'll find a way to make sure that those are, there's some way to make profit off of those and do what's needed to be done to get there. But yeah, we already have the lease. So that's step one. That's a pretty big thing. And then we'll slowly buy the cooling installation and ASIC miners over the mint so that we're not wasting time or wasting those investments.
Guys, please go ahead and like and share this video on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. This is really great what Lame Hilly has Lame Hillbilly has going on, or Austin, I can call you. So
Yeah.
he's got a really interesting project with that's actually built for the bear market. This is the kind of stuff you want to get into during the bear market. This is not financial advice, guys. You guys have to go through all this information, do your own research, understand it. It's got the royalties in there, what you can make, just kind of like how I was doing. He just called me up very recently. I just looking at the stuff. I'm trying to figure it out. I will be buying myself personally. I will be putting a few $1,000s in there because I do like the fact that I can buy and get exposure to Kadena, which I think in the next bull run has an opportunity to. I don't know. I think I could see Kadena go to $4 in the next bull run, $4 to $5 range. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that some people had seen it going to $8 within the year, within the next bull cycle, of course. There's a lot of upside. They have a huge team. They have a lot of funding. They're starting to build a lot of stuff on the chain. So I think you'll see a lot more of Kadena this next bull run because a lot of people are actually sticking to, these type of mining operations and these NFTs. So I think that Kadena is going to get more popular because you got to think every NFT sold is someone that's looking at Kadena. We have 10,000. Kadena Hashing has 10,000. HydroWells has a Kadena. So there's a lot of people looking at Kadena, right? So I think that there is going to be developers starting to move to Kadena and see what the chain's all about. Yeah. So I think that's good for Disco Chuck to say. These investments was developed by Frozen Walrus. You all know that I run a tune fork where most people do, that is Frozen Walrus Finance. And so with these, I wanted to make sure that the Treasury was able to gain from this. And the way that we're doing that is 50% of every purchase is actually going to buying Walrus share. And if you're not familiar with Walrus share, it's at about $13 right now. It's been up since about $8 of yesterday. We're going to have about a $700,000 injection into the Walrus share and own most of the supply. And then after we own our supply, of course, we're coming out with our own Glacier decks, and then we'll be moving our liquidity over. So there's a lot more in the background of moving pieces, right? But face value, I wanted the users on this broadcast to see what you're actually purchasing with your money and kind of where it's going, right?
So let's get into a little bit of, I saw some breakdowns of your costs. If you sell everything out, you're going to get $1.4 million. But you're going to have only $718,000 of it being in USDC, and the other half will be in Walrus shares, correct?
Yep, and honestly, that is a malleable number. If I need to take profits in Walrus share to afford more for the mining, the mining will be successful. Point blank, like I will make sure from the Treasury, and it even says that 10% goes to the Frozen Walrus Treasury. I'm okay with taking 0% for the Frozen Walrus Treasury, because I just want to make sure that the people that are investing in these miners, we are able to secure all of the things that we need. So you can actually see there the breakdown.
The breakdown of the costs.
And those ASIC miners are priced at about probably 30% of what they were during a bull run. We've actually found even better pricing in a couple different places. We just wanted to give baselines for people. Those are the KD6 miners. Ant Miner just came out with a more efficient miner, and they recently had a sale, but of course we haven't minted it yet, so we couldn't purchase the sale. But yeah, we're finding really good opportunities across the market.
So this is $190,000 of expenses. When it says lease for unit, is that per year, per month? What is that?
Per year.
Per year. Wow, it's a really cheap lease. This is so your whole entire operation is going to be in New Zealand because it's cheaper to mine there.
He actually has contacts in Texas, and then there's one other state that we can do it locally here in the U.S. So if we need to, we can actually start pricing here in the U.S. as well. He has the means to do it. He speaks with a lot of the big mining companies about moving some of their equipment. They actually just recently flew out to meet him because he's been doing this for so long. So he has a lot of connections. So if we find better pricing in Texas or another state, then we'll have opportunity there as well.
What makes it so different from, like you were talking about HydroWells earlier, what makes your project different? HydroWells has been a successful project. So yes. Can we see that level of success, and what makes you different?
Yeah, so I think that what makes us really different comparatively to all the other ones is the simplicity behind it. You buy an NFT and you rake in profits from mining, right? We're not claiming these NFTs are going to do this or that. We're claiming that they are a a percentage of the profits from mining. This is how many miners we're able to get. There's not going to be any game. So our main project is obviously Frozen Walrus. We already had our team. We already had the developers. We already had all of this. And that's all being handled with Frozen Walrus. But now with Walrus English Club, it's truly independent. It's standalone. But it's been funded by Frozen Walrus, and there's no need for like any kind of fluff as far as like the team size. It's just 2 or 3 people plus a slew of developers that I have in contact with that I can get things developed on. But it is super simple, and that's why the prices are lower, and that is also why we're able to offer the different rates that we're able to offer, is because there's not a lot of middlemen in this, right? We're getting the best pricing. Because my partner in this, Sean, already gets the best pricing that he can, and so it works out because it's simple, it's cheaper, so it's less risk, and we're going to be mining Kadena, and we call it a basket hash rate because it could be Kadena, it could be Litecoin, it could be Bitcoin, but regardless, the user will get an increase in profits time over time as we compound and build a bigger operation, and then later. This is another exciting thing, is that we are looking to do like something like mining as a service, where Sean is able to price out different ASIC miners for the treasuries of DeFi projects and allow them to get a piece of the pie through their treasury. So we are looking to offer that as a service as well.
So the mining phase 1 starts when exactly?
So we're uploading the NFTs right now. All of the images and the JSON files through IPFS, and it's going to take a little bit because it's about 35 gigs. So we're looking to get it out sometime tonight. I don't want to give out a super hard stance. I would if I had them uploaded already, but I don't. So it should be tonight, and as soon as I get these uploaded and everything, I'll give like a 6-hour heads up, like, hey, look, we're ready. And we're going to start
tomorrow. It could end up being tomorrow.
It could be, but I work hard when I got something to sink my teeth in, so I don't expect a delay on that end.
Okay, so that's great. This is another great question. Are government regulations a risk for mining in New Zealand?
No. There is no, one second, I'm sorry. There is no issue right now with any kind of regulations as far as government. He's above board on everything. He runs it through an LLC company. All of his purchases and things. So he has a lawyer separate of my lawyer. So he's above board on everything. He's been doing this for quite some time. He has no fear of regulations at this time.
Got it. Yeah, usually for miners, there's not a big deal of regulations. The regulations that are coming through are mainly for exchanges, DEXs, and stable tokens. So
yeah, it's not really like a token you're offering to an ecosystem. You're offering an NFT as like a percentage of the profits from miners. It's really because of the simplicity of it. That's what makes it a lot easier.
Do we buy NFT using USDC or an LP?
So you'll be buying with USDC.E on AVAX. So we were going to use Walrus Share LP, but me and Dow King had spoken. And he was like, that's going to be hard, man. And I was like, you're right, it is. So I switched it over to straight USDC to make it easier for anybody that we're onboarding on this process that isn't a Frozen Walrus investor, right?
So what are you going to do with this USDC? You're just going to go buy W shares? That's the goal?
So it automatically buys it. In the contract, it automatically buys the Walrus share each purchase.
So like if I put in $100, how much of that $100 goes and buys Walrus share?
50. At 125, it'll be $75 by Walrus share. It just always splits at 50%.
That's a lot of demand coming on Walrus share.
Yeah, it is going to be some pressure. Really, my goal wasn't to like make a FOMO price action on Walrus share. It's to really fix our ecosystem and the Toon Fork itself by pretty much doing a supply shock. We're likely to own 80% to 90% of our share emissions. And at that point, we have a lot of control over the price and resetting it.
Interesting question. When doing marketing for this, you should include carbon neutral mining. People love that shit. You can say shit.
Yeah.
And it's actually true.
Yeah. So because New Zealand is mainly powered by hydro electricity, then most of ours are. I think we talked about the carbon neutral thing, and everybody knows that I'm just too Kentucky, maybe, that I don't know anything about it, right? Sorry, environment. Yeah, I don't try and harm you, but I don't know much about the carbon neutral thing. I remember Forgiving, he had launched a protocol that was like tied to the carbon coin,
Carbon.
and Kyoto, I think, also did something similar.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of that stuff means. It sounds cool, but it's a little bit before after my time, for me, I guess. So.
Actually, Brando's launching his own project, Run on Bourbon.
I could believe it. I've got 3 bourbon places within 30 minutes of me. Hit me up, Brando. I know there's another. I think there's another Two Fork launching that's going to be pegged to. Maybe this is alpha. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Pegged to what? What is it pegged to? No,
Oil.
Oil.
What do you think's going to happen to oil over the winter?
It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
It's not my project.
Yeah, no. I know, but when you start pegging them to random commodities, it's just
Yeah, Two Forks are a fickle bitch sometimes, man. I know a lot of people laugh at my prices, and I was this cult leader for 3 months, right? And everybody loved me because the prices were up, and then the market tanked and stuff. And we're pivoting and doing a massive amount of things in the back end. I'm very confident in the project.
You are still a cult leader, number one, and number two, you're DeFi famous.
I don't know about DeFi famous, but I'll take it.
No, you're DeFi famous. You're definitely DeFi famous. But Tomb forks are very hard, and I think everyone at Frozen Walrus should be very happy that you're leading the community, because most leaders of their communities, of their Tomb forks at the stage you're at, have given up. Now you got Glacier coming out, you got this coming out. You're doing stuff.
X Walrus, which we haven't even been able to talk about. X Walrus coming out next week. And there's a lot of things coming. I tell Dow King all the time, like, dude, I need to get greedier, because I'm just like, I do everything I can to give back to my community, and I really do mean that. And so it doesn't always equate to dollar signs and the tokens, but I'll always try and do the most right thing I can. I'll try and make the investor as whole as I can. I can't hold your hand, but I will always give back when I can. To a T, I think through this entire PCP contract, it'll end up being over $300,000 in my treasury being spent to kind of, push this thing. And honestly, a lot of people would call me stupid and say that you should have used $300,000 from your treasury. Cool, I get that. Maybe you wouldn't have done that. But I like to make my investors whole. The treasury is for my community, and I will use every cent of it to try and maintain Frozen Walrus investors. And that's always how it's going to be. And the same thing applies for Walrus Anglers Club. The amount of dedication and time and commitment I put into these things, it will never falter, right?
There's a lot of people that love you. Let's just be honest and look at this.
Thank you.
LBH is trustworthy to take DeFi projects to the next level, and also working on driving revenue. Yep. And then Yabonks said the handsome fella in the white hat. And the handsome fella in the white hat, and this is what people were talking about when you were a cult leader for a minute. People were actually saying we have one of the most handsome people.
Oh, stop, man. I appreciate that.
It was really funny.
I appreciate that, man. I do. I think that, I was nervous as hell when I first got into DeFi about like showing my face and stuff. And I mean, it's a nerve-wracking thing, right? When you run a project and you show your face and give that much of yourself, but I don't know how else to do it. People know that I have a fiance, 3 kids, I live in Kentucky. Might as well just give them my Facebook. Psych, I don't have a Facebook. But, it's one of those things that I love doing this. I love being exposed to my community, and I want people to know, like, if you do this the right way, and if you want to become a cult leader like me, do it the right way. Treat people right. Do the right thing. And hopefully, if I become successful in this and continue to do it for a longevity or have a career in it, hopefully that's my mark on DeFi, is that other people want to do the same thing, and we can change the space a little bit.
What do you think about this question? How much of the invested amount are you actually using to buy miners? Well, it's in the spreadsheet. You can kind of see it there. You can go to it. What was it? How much was it? We can take a quick look.
He's speaking about impermanent losses if we are making LP with it. We're not making LP with the Walrus share. It's going to be the USDC is used for the miners, which is about 718,000 after the end of it. And then there is also the Walrus share, which will be bought But with the price appreciation of Walrus share, or even not, whatever we need to use that Walrus share for, if we need more USDC to invest in more miners or whatever else, of course we can take that. The main goal was to get as much Walrus share as we could for Frozen Walrus investors, because they've been riding with me for 7-8 months now.
$144,000 is what they're going to use to buy the miners, according to the PDF.
Oh, and there is also some, we heard that people like lore behind NFTs. And so we do have a story crafted about these NFTs and their fishing guild of trying to capture the yield from these miners. So that'll be released in a Medium article. I know that Dow King, realistically, he hates NFTs, guys. Anybody that's watching this, Dow King does not like NFTs.
Now he's talking about stories behind a JPEG.
He hates them, man. But people like that. People want to believe in something. They want to have fun, man. They don't hate on people that like that. I don't understand the whole $1 million NFT thing. I agree with that. But reasonably priced utility NFTs that actually do something, mean something. I think we're gearing towards the right side of NFTs, right? They're not just profile pictures. They are, statements of utility, and that's what NFTs are for. They're non-fungible. You can't interchange them. They are yours when you own them. So I love utility NFTs.
It's nothing like owning a JPEG.
It's a PNG, actually.
Whatever it is, a PNG.
Yeah, it's a PNG, but you can save it as a JPEG if you want. Hey, man, these NFTs look really good.
Amazing.
I can actually show you on my screen.
I will be staring at mine all day long.
Hold on, let me pull up.
Where do you stare at it at? You got to go to
so we're likely gonna be on NFT Trade first.
And then so you go to NFT Trade to stare at your $100 artwork. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Dow King gets it. So let me pull up a couple.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What is the world coming to? Who came up with NFTs, man? I mean, Jesus.
It is a wild concept. That's what I was saying to my community, is that like at one point I was giving out a rooster NFT that was worth $800 to my community. And it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. My lifestyle is crazy, man. Let's see. Share.
So are you going to take some money for yourself? Like, you don't take money. So like when are you going to start taking some money for yourself?
There is a 5% development fund, but you can imagine, especially at only 2,500 mints, I'm barely taking much. My main success comes from, Glacier, Frozen Walrus. I don't want to take money from Walrus English Club. I feel like this is a community project. And so, there's not a lot of upkeep on my end, other than, of course, doing these Ask Me Anythings, which is like in my blood at this point. So it's like a non-event to me.
Got it. And then they're going to be on, you said NFT Trade is where their secondary market's going to be?
That's correct. NFT Trade or Trade. NFT Trade, I guess is what you call it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they will be on NF Trade. That's the most volume on Avalanche is through NF Trade. But of course we could post it. But that is my one that I want to get verified early on as soon as minting starts. So
awesome, man.
A lot of good questions.
Any other questions, guys? You guys asked a lot of great questions. There's about almost 30 people watching. So that's pretty good for a new project that no one's heard of, because you're a cult leader.
That's right. I gotta bring my status out sometimes.
I
gotta bring it out for the benefit.
Impromptu AMA out of nowhere. That's pretty good.
Yeah, within 1 hour, man. Only me and Dow King, man. I don't really market a lot, and if I ever market, the only person I ever go to is, of course, Dow King.
Oh, stop it!
I do. I only go with you. There's only a few people that I trust in this space, and so when I do want to market, I'm always like, "Hey, man, help me out. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you spend 1K on NFTs? Of course.
Yeah, you buy 10 of them, right? You just get 10 of them.
That's right.
Yeah, just buy 10 of them, and then 10 of them will cost you $1,200 if you wait for phase 2.
Go ahead and spend 100,000.
Oh, is there a limit or no?
There is no limit.
No limit. Okay.
Because I feel like these mints will. I don't think that they're going to be. Maybe I'm wrong. I always look for the bare minimums, and then if anything else happens, I get surprised and I'm happy. So if they mint out in 10 minutes,
you have 4,000 people in your community. Those are 4,000 real people. You never know.
Yeah, because I never. My community is. Everything in DeFi has been dying down a little bit, especially in the Discords. But these 4,000 members came from zero marketing. You know, I built this from the ground up, and you know, these people are real, and there's a lot of action in our Discord. And I hope that Walrus Anglers Club is able to bring more people into my community. The amount of stuff that I do for my community, the amount of stuff that my team does for the community, it is one of those things that is a little bit different than other people's. So come in, take a look, and you know, I think you'll be happy. Stick around.
Anything else you wanted to cover, Lame Hillbilly, before we see if there's any more questions out there?
Yeah, if you're interested in anything that Frozen Walrus is doing, join the Discord. I make a lot of content through YouTube. We have a podcast now that we do every week. We have a ton of content through our announcements. If you don't know something, just ask. And you know, I'm here all the time. You know, I work a lot, and I take pride in my work. So if you have a question, of course, always ask me. You can DM me. My DMs have been open since the beginning of my journey in DeFi, and I get a lot of weird DMs. Dowkey, maybe we should sift through my DMs one day.
Dude, we should do a whole like weird. What kind of DMs you getting?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's robots, and then other people say weird shit to me.
Like what?
Like they'll ask weird details about my life, some shit that I should probably be more scared of.
Like what? Like,
and then people will give me like the most ludicrous ideas of what they think would work best. And a lot of people think that, like, a lot of people sit on the sidelines in DeFi, especially the project leaders, and they're like, I could have done this better. I know what and then they'll hit me with an idea, and then I have to say, this is why it won't work. A lot of people think of whenever they're creating something in their head, they'll be like, this is why it will work, right? But they never think, and Dow King, you do this all the time to projects. They never think, why won't it work? They don't understand in DeFi, there's a double-edged sword to everything. And so a lot of these times people are like, dude, I just thought the best thing and this. And I'm like, man, it sounds great.
I'm generally right, though.
Yo, no, yeah, I agree. You are 100%. You think in different terms of, again, you don't think in technicals. You think of how will the market respond to it.
Right.
And every single day in DeFi is a different way that the market will respond to something most of the time. So it takes a special person to be able to navigate that. I don't do as good a job as you, for sure.
So he didn't send you the feet pics. Are people sending you feet pics?
No, but people wanted me to offer my feet pictures as NFTs.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't know how you feel about that. I don't think they're selling out that good.
I mean, maybe your face, like maybe the one.
My one face. Yeah, maybe I can sell my face.
Let's see. Apart from mining, is a portion of the treasury going to be invested in other DeFi projects? Any details on that?
So 75% of the mining rewards are compounded. 20% is actually used to a community fund where we'll be investing in anything under the sun. If we want to get risky with it, we'll get risky with it. But we'll be looking for opportunities like, EMP or other projects like that that can give us some pretty good returns so that we're able to not only, we have to wait for this bull cycle for Kadena to appreciate, right? And so while we're waiting, I want to make sure that we can offer some compensation through other profits as well.
Here's another question.
Yeah, would the PCP withdrawal fee be dropped to 6% before NFT drop tonight? So there's a little bit of stuff about the PCP that I have to announce beforehand, and all of that will become much more clear. It's a delicate subject, so if you have any questions about the PCP, of course, go into the Discord and ask, and I'll give you the answer that I can give you right now. But there's some stuff that's coming out about the PCP that it's just a little bit different. Thanks, AJ, for saying that you're going to be investing. And then somebody said something, what KDA miners do they plan to buy? So our initial pricing was for the KD6 miners. There is the Kadena Ant miners now, and we are looking at pricing them as well. And whichever one becomes more efficient is the one that we'll go with, but within the same price point and in the same pricing structure that we currently have laid out. What else we got, guys? A bunch of great questions, and I'm very happy that we got this out to your community and to the other communities that are involved.
You guys are done? He's answered all your questions to everyone's satisfaction, it seems. Everyone is satisfied.
And if anybody's listening that I've reached out to in the last 3 hours that is going to post it to their communities and that you've responded and said that you would, my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support that I always get in the DeFi space. It means a lot. And hopefully these mints go extremely well. And everybody can make some money or have some passive income for the next bull cycle. That's realistically what it is. But the NFTs look great. there's a big community behind this, and hopefully it gets bigger after this.
Yeah, and share this video, guys. Share it on your Twitter, on your Facebook, on your OnlyFans, wherever you go, wherever you are. Share it away.
Share it on Facebook, man. That'll be. Who uses Facebook? I don't have Facebook.
I think people still have Facebook.
Do you have a Facebook? Your box definitely looks like a man that has a Facebook.
Has a Facebook for sure.
Yeah, he definitely has a Facebook. I can see that.
Definitely, he's like a Facebook guy.
Yeah, man, he's with the Facebook mom groups in there.
A Facebook mom groups.
Somebody said DK looks like a different guy wearing his hat correctly. I like the cool crypto dad with a backwards hat.
He's funny. You guys are funny. All right, guys. If there's no more questions, it's your box.
My mom shares my Facebook content. That's so wholesome, your box, man. Alex, that's so wholesome, man. That makes me happy to hear.
Oh my goodness. So you can be Facebook friends.
Facebook friends, man.
Oh my goodness. What is going on out here? We've lost our minds. Why is 30 people even watching us?
I'm not joking. I've been doing this full time since January, and it honestly feels like time has just not been real, man. I look back and I'm like, holy crap, look at the journey that I've done, and I can barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning. It is crazy to work in this space full time, and I absolutely love it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little nuts. I think at some point you got to step back from it, guys. I think like you and
I don't think enough people step back, including myself.
Yeah, I think it's okay to step back from it and just take a break from time to time. And hopefully your projects will all be successful in the coming months ahead, where you can take some time and not worry about W share price and all the other BS that goes along with running a fucking tune fork,
Yeah, man. I am human. As much of a cult leader as people say I am human. Yeah. And of course, price appreciation. Like, people don't understand that every time a price goes up or down, like, it impacts me probably 10 times more than most community members. Like, right. I bleed this stuff, right? And so when it goes down, that makes me feel like I've lost my investors' money. Mm-hmm. So it personally hurts me. And so, I go through the same woes as everybody else. And, I appreciate the support that I still get.
One thing I want to tell you, Lame Hillbilly, is what I've seen in DeFi is somebody will say, I lost $1,000 in so-and-so's project. And I always go to them, did you really lose $1,000? Because like a lot of times they don't even think about the rewards they were taking for like a month.
Yeah, 3 months, and Brando could attest to it. I'm sure he made bukus of money. A lot of people made bukus of money in the 3 months. Most of them got ROI from it, right? It's a crappy thing. The things that tune forks go through, especially in a bull market, because there's always new projects. There's always something new, hot and flashy. And that's the problem with DeFi that we have to solve, is how do we get more fundamental investors into longer term projects? Or that's kind of my thinking.
Good point. That's a good point.
Is to make more fundamentally sound projects in tokenomics for the bigger investors and for the people that are long term and that have been accumulating my tokens and believing in me. Those are the people that I want, paid. Not the people that had hopped out because they saw a 10% price decrease or a 50% or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to make money. I understand that. So, great on anybody that made money.
All right, guys. There's no more questions. Thank you, Lame Hillbilly, for coming on. And we will be watching. Hopefully, go to the Discord. Make sure you see the times that they're going to release the NFTs. It's going to be sometime today. Do your own research here. This wasn't financial advice, guys. Keep that in mind, that you need to do your own research on the stuff. It's new. All this NFT stuff is all new. All these utility NFTs are new. So please take a look at it and fully understand what you're getting into, and that there will be nothing coming for the first 6 months. It's important.
Yes, it's a long-term play, and please understand that. I do not like doing marketing gimmicks to try and fool people into getting into my projects. Understand the risk. Please, God, read the white paper. It explains most things. If anything's not clear, come ask me.
Understand you can sell your NFT, so that's the way you can get out of it. But,
of course, yeah.
That's it.
And as they're minting, of course, they'll gain intrinsic value based on the minting current price. So there will be some type of price floor for these Can't promise you'll get 100%, but of course, there is a secondary market. You're always welcome to sell.
All right. Thank you, Lame Hillbilly. Thank you again. And thank you guys for watching. Take care. See you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.